What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and just finished up watching William Zepeda versus Rene Alvarado, and this was a 10-rounder in the lightweight division, and this fight was Saturday, May 14th, from the Toyota Arena in Ontario, California, and this fight was broadcasted on DAZN, and in this fight, William Zepeda was able to get a unanimous decision victory over Rene Alvarado, so I personally scored this bout 96-94 in favor of William Zepeda. The three judges scored this bout 98-92, 97-93, and 96-94, agreeing with my scorecard, all in favor of Zepeda. So I think that 7-3, which is 97-93, and 8-2, which is 90-92, is a bit too wide in favor of Zepeda. I thought it was more of a 6-4, which is 96-94, if not a 5-5, which is 95-95. I thought this was either a draw or a close win for Zepeda. Yeah, this was a very competitive and actually an excellent fight. It was a sort of rock'em sock'em robots battle. And just to break it down, so really the first round I gave to Alvarado because, he sort of, it was just sort of a feel out round, but I thought Alvarado was doing some nice work on the outside, tattooing Zepeda a bit. Then in round 2 and 3, I gave them to Zepeda. Zepeda started to work to the body very nicely, and I really just gave him those rounds based off of that fact. And then rounds 4, 5, and 6, I gave all to Alvarado because Alvarado really started to tattoo Zepeda and really just outwork him and land big shots. Whilst I was shocked because Zepeda was throwing big and landing big, and Alvarado was just taking them and then just outworking Zepeda and landing some big, fast combinations and really just scoring points. Then, it was really just a battle between sort of ends of the fight. Early on, it looked like Zepeda. The middle rounds were Alvarado, but then late, the last 4 rounds, I gave to William Zepeda. So, that really won him the fight on my scorecard, obviously. So, yeah, I gave him those rounds because, in round 7, he was able to sort of wobble Alvarado a bit and sort of back him up. Same with round 8, he backed him up against the ropes and had him a bit hurt. And then in round 10, literally the last punch before the bell sounded, a big left hand was landed that sort of buckled the knees of Alvarado, and he really just started to get to Alvarado a bit, and Alvarado seemed to tire. So, if you watch this fight, comment down below your scorecard, and comment down below what do you think is next for both fighters, and that goes into the question, what is next for William Zepeda? Zepeda still undefeated. This was definitely his best win by far, beating a former world champion, and this was his toughest test by far, and he passed it. But he barely passed, in my opinion. He could have been a draw, but still, it was an excellent fight between both of them. And I think that Zepeda is going to get yet another top 20, maybe even top 15 fighter. I know that Alvarado is coming up from 130, but he could get a top 30, or should I say a top 25 to top 15 lightweight in his next fight, which will most likely be on another DAZN Golden Boy card. But as for Rene Alvarado, losing here for I believe the 12th time, and I also did forget to mention that these guys could definitely rematch because of how excellent this fight was, but it will most likely be another top 25, top 15 opponent for Zepeda. But as for Rene Alvarado, obviously the rematch is available, but I don't really think it's going to happen considering there was no upset, draw, or anything, but it's obviously an option. But yeah, most likely for Alvarado. I don't think he's going to retire. I heard the commentators talking about that, but if he would have lost his fight wide and just easily, he could have. But since his fight was pretty competitive and he really showed that he could still hang in there with some of these young up and coming guys, I think he'll have another fight against a top tier prospect or rising contender, because it seems like Golden Boy is really just giving him these big fights, and it's not like he's getting beat up in them. He's giving these guys good challenges. And remember, just over a year ago, he was still a world champion and fighting for world titles. So, you have to remember that with his fights against Roger Gutierrez and such. So, he's still a very, very solid fighter. And in his next fight, I think he'll take on another pretty tough fighter that he could either win, have a competitive fight with, or just lose a close decision. So, overall, William Zepeda defeats Rene Alvarado by unanimous decision in a very, very competitive and fun fight for the co-main event on Gilberto Ramirez versus Dominic Boesel. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.